Today's San Francisco 49ers report is presented by Roan. You can get 20% off site-wide, including the commuter pack. I'm wearing their commuter shirt at roan.com/chatsports. Make sure you use the promo code chatsports. We'll tell you more about today's sponsor coming up later on today's show. As for what we're getting into here, the top remaining NFL free agents. A lot of really quality players available, even though a couple of signings have happened today. Austin Hooper to the Las Vegas Raiders, Mecole Hardman to the New York Jets, but still a lot of players who the Niners could sign to add to their 2023 roster. Before we take a look at this list, make sure you subscribe to the channel. To everybody out there who supports us, greatly appreciated. This is the largest independently run Niners channel on YouTube, and you see the numbers here that back that up. 158 people away from 80,000 subscribers. Can we get there with this video alone? I challenge you, the faithful, right now. This is why you should subscribe. For those of you not familiar with the show, I'm Chase Sr., and we give you shows every single day. News, rumors, analysis, live shows, watch parties, NFL draft, as well as NFL free agency coverage, which is what we're doing right here. All right, without further ado, this list has changed a little bit today, so we're going to go 17-1 with some players getting hacked off the board. We're having some fun with it. So Ezekiel Elliott, Taylor Lewan, Isaiah Wynn, Jadeveon, Clowney, all still free agents. I think Ezekiel Elliott not in play. Taylor Lewan not in play either because he's a left tackle, can't play right tackle, doesn't want to. I do think Isaiah Wynn would be a really good target for the Niners. This is a guy who has some pedigree. He struggled a little bit with the New England Patriots, but in this system, with this coaching staff, I do believe they'd be able to bring a better player out of Isaiah Wynn as compared to New England. As for Jadeveon Clowney, he could play in a 4-3 front. He can play in a 3-4 front. San Francisco likes to run that wide 9-4-3. I think you might see a little less wide 9 with Steve Wilks. At this point of his career, Jadeveon Clowney is not that freaky, twitchy athlete that you want as a pass rusher. That's why I think if he goes somewhere as one of those hybrid defensive tackles, he could be really scary. That's what we saw from guys like Arden Key as well as Charles Omenihu. You put Clowney in that type of role, he could be scary. Now, he's never really lived up to the lofty sack expectations in his NFL career with the Seahawks, with the Titans, with the Browns, and to start his career with the Houston Texans. But again, you put him on as a depth piece along this defensive line, which, Coop, we can take a look at that depth chart. Right now, it looks as though Drake Jackson might get the start at defensive end if the Niners don't go after my dream target, and Yannick Ngakoue, who we'll talk about in further detail coming up. Javon Hargrave, stud star at one of those defensive tackle spots. Eric Armstead on the other DT spot, and then the reigning defensive player of the year, Nick Bosa. Can you imagine on a cheap deal, Jadeveon Clowney on this front, playing edge and defensive tackle, versatile option? That would be a lot of fun for San Francisco. So with that, our first poll question of the day: which free agent do you want the Niners to sign? It can either be a player who we're talking about here or somebody who we're not talking about. Want you to let me know down in the comment section and share your thoughts. As I mentioned off the top of the show, the 49ers report is presented by Roan, and hang tight because we have a great show in store for you today. Don't you hate dress shirts that are too loose, too long, don't fit right, and are made of crappy materials? How about on the pants spectrum? Such a pain when they're uncomfortable, tight, too loose, never your size, and you can't match them with anything. Put an end to that with the Roan Commuter Collection. When I was working at WNEP in Scranton, Pennsylvania as a local news reporter, I ran into these problems all the time. No longer here at Chat Sports because of Roan. Men's closets were due for a massive overhaul and reinvention. Roan stepped up to the challenge. Their Commuter Collection, the most comfortable, breathable, flexible set of products known to man. Here's why. They have products for every occasion. They can get you ready for work, right to the golf course, or hanging out in a cubicle, or doing shows here at Chat Sports. Looking good is easy, and it's time to feel confident without the hassle. They have this wrinkle release technology where wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the products. It's that easy. Odor-free technology as well, so you won't be stinky for your significant other, because if that's the case, you're just not going to have a good night. So one more time, roan.com/chatsports. Promo code chatsports. I wasn't lying about the flexible material. Look at that. Doesn't even wrinkle either. It's elite. Roan.com/chatsports. Let's move forward with this list. Are the Niners set in the secondary? Yeah, probably, but if an injury does happen, maybe Marcus Peters could be available later on in the process if he doesn't sign with the team. Isaiah McKenzie, more of a gadget guy at wide receiver. Myles Jack, a linebacker. I think San Francisco could be pretty set there. Bud Dupree, another edge rusher. He's been often injured. And then Poona Ford, defensive tackle. Maybe him as a depth piece, but I think he could get more money elsewhere with the team outside of the Niners organization. For Bud Dupree, very talented edge rusher here who could play in a multiple scheme as well. The big problem with him, it's just the fact that he's been injured a lot throughout his career. When he's been on the field, when he's been healthy, this guy is really, really quick with this first step, coming around the edge. And again, I've said it all off season. Please get Nick Bosa some help on the other side of that defensive line at that edge spot, because it only makes his job easier and conserves him for later on in the season and in the playoffs when he needs to be at his best. You're going to be taking on some elite quarterbacks late in the year, late in the playoffs, jockeying for a playoff spot, looking to make it to another Super Bowl. And if you're going up against an elite quarterback, the best way to limit the opposing offense is to get after the quarterback. And you do that with a really good pass rush. So, pick one to sign between these two players here to my right. Jadeveon Clowney, type JC. Bud Dupree, type BD. And you might have that BD energy. All right, 8 through 5 here. DJ Chark at wide receiver. I like the player. He's just been a little bit too injured over the last couple of years. Rock Ya-Sin, very solid cornerback who's had a couple of visits with a couple of teams. Frank Clark, number 3 all-time in the history of the NFL playoffs in sacks. And then Dalton Risner, another player who the Niners could have interest in. Guard tackle flexibility. At this point, though, looks as though the Niners might go offensive tackle, right tackle in the NFL draft. For Frank Clark, some concerns off the field throughout his career, but when he's on the field, he's a really solid player. Like I said, 3rd all-time in sacks in the NFL playoffs. When it's the regular season, sometimes it seems as though he's maintaining that energy for when the games matter the most and when the pressure cooker is on. But still, the sack production is pretty solid, right? I mean, 8 sacks, 6 sacks, 4.5 sacks, 5 sacks over the last 4 years. All of this with the Kansas City Chiefs. Also was a pretty solid player with the Seattle Seahawks as well. Be sure to give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram, by the way. You see the handle down below at Chase_Senior on both social media platforms. Let's round out with our final 4 players. Leonard Floyd, 9 sacks in each of his last 3 seasons. Odell Beckham Jr. did not play last season, but the Niners did attend his workout in Arizona a couple of Fridays ago. Bobby Wagner, still playing at a very, very high level. He is bound for Canton to the NFL Hall of Fame, looking to extend his career with the team that gives him an opportunity to win a 2nd Super Bowl championship. Then my boy, Yannick Ngakoue. Let's first go to number 4 here in Leonard Floyd. 9 sacks over his last 3 seasons. He's really come alive and been able to extend his career with the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know if he's a prototypical number 1 edge rusher. That goes to a guy like Nick Bosa, who's in a different stratosphere, who's just a unique alien. But with Floyd, if you put him on this defensive line with the great pass rushing defensive tackle like Javon Hargrave, a great run stopper and pass rusher in Eric Armstead who can cause destruction against the opposing offensive line, as well as Nick Bosa, this guy can have a lot of one-on-one matchups, and with that bend and speed around the edge, he could put together a season like he has over the last 3 years and be a near double-digit sack guy, if not a double-digit sack guy. For Odell Beckham Jr., didn't play last year because of that torn ACL that he suffered in Super Bowl 56. He came alive a little bit, though, down the stretch with the Los Angeles Rams, and that gave you a little bit of a glimpse into what he is capable of. I've really watched a lot of the videos that have come out from his workout. I understand he's not going up against DBs, but I'm looking for quick feet. I'm looking for him getting in and out of his cuts. I'm looking for strength on the lower body. I want to see the explosiveness, some of that pull-away speed. It looks as though he has that. And if he can give you what he gave the Rams down the stretch, I'm not saying he even needs to be a 1,000-yard receiver. It's just that dynamic ability as a wide receiver 3 out of the slot. If he's in that slot position, the mismatches that Kyle Shanahan could exploit would make this offense very, very lethal. Lastly, Yannick Ngakoue. Everybody wants to tell me Yannick Ngakoue is still a free agent because he's bad against the run. You know, it doesn't really matter when it comes down to a Super Bowl when you're playing up against a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, your run defense. I understand the Kansas City Chiefs ran the ball well against the Philadelphia Eagles. That was more because of the play calling and the scheme for Philadelphia. This is an interesting stat that the last 4 Super Bowl winners have been 20th or worse in rushing yards. I don't really care about stopping the run when it comes time to facing a Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, an elite quarterback in the playoffs. You need to have an elite pass rush, and Yannick Ngakoue is elite at getting after the quarterback. Every season that he has been in the NFL, all 7 of them, he's had at least 8 sacks. Over his last 4, you obviously see the production here. This guy is an elite pass rusher. Him on the other side and Nick Bosa, opposing quarterbacks would not want to face that 1-2 punch at those edge spots for San Francisco. The fact that he's still available is wild to me. It's mind-blowing. Again, I don't care that he's not good against the run. You need another really good pass rusher. And here's the thing with Yannick Ngakoue. That is his specialty. If you're still hanging out with us here on the show as we break down the top free agents still available that the Niners could sign, give me a real one down in the chat. And if you want to get a real one shirt, they are available as well. We're going to plug that link down below, chatsports.com/real one. All types of colors available if you want to join the Real One movement. Appreciate all of y'all who tuned in. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll catch you next time here on the show.